Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Sing that with us, please.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you.
For you.
Oh Lord, for you, for you. Oh Lord, for you. Open my eyes, illumine me. Open my eyes, illumine me. I just want to thank you for giving me this life. I just want to thank you for giving me this life.
Lord, prepare me.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Last line.
Sanctuary for you.
Good morning, and we welcome Sherry Warren up.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity Church in Albany, where we have announcements. If there are any prayer chaplains here today, could you stand or raise your hand? We've got Dennis, we've got Jack, we've got Deb, we've got Bob. If you'd like to have some personalized prayer, please meet any one of those 4 individuals in the back of the sanctuary at the end of the service. And you know how much we love to pray, so there's lots of opportunities for prayer here, and there's probably somebody who's going to hold one up, little pamphlets in the back of the pews. There we go. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Gretchen. And feel free to write in anything that you might like prayer for, whether it's joyous or whether it's something that you just need some help with. And our head prayer chaplain, Dennis, and the team will be praying for you. So today's flowers are from John Fredericks and are in memory and celebration of the birthday of his mother, Rosemary, who would have been 90 a few days ago. So, very nice. So I think many of you know that we've got a spring retreat scheduled. So normally we have a fall retreat, and our fall retreat, of course, had been rescheduled to spring, and we've got Reverend Paulette Pipe coming. Since the time that we booked her, she has become quite a sensation, and it's thought that this may be one of the last times we get her in Albany for the foreseeable future because she's that hot in terms of her message. So we're hoping that everybody who signed up previously will join us, and all those of you who couldn't sign up in the fall, maybe your calendars have shifted and you will be able to join us. And if you need more information, it's Saturday, March 27th and 28th, and there is a sign-up sheet in the lobby by March 15th. So I don't know if anybody was here early and you saw the poster that was up on the wall. We have got an incredible band coming tonight. Garland Nelson and A Joyful Noise. Those guys are so amazing. They'll be playing at the SPAC Jazz Fest this summer. They've played in lots of different places around the Capital Region. And they're going to play here tonight, 8-member band. And it is on a donation basis. We're thinking somewhere $10 to $20, but no one will be turned away. It's a little different than our normal one song, so the doors will open at 6, and the concert will begin at 6:30, and it will go through 8 o'clock tonight. And we really hope you can come and support this and join us tonight. Sorry, I got 2, and I don't know what just happened. 6:30 to 8 is the actual concert. What did you say, Patricia? Maybe it'll go to 8:30, and there could be an encore till 9, so it could be a really great evening. Bring your phone. We'll put our lights up and see what happens. Okay. So I think everybody also knows that the annual meeting is next week, March 1st, if we can believe March 1st is going to be here. And everyone is welcome to join us on that day. The people who are allowed to vote for the next board are those who are active members. So if you are a member but you've been inactive and would like to change that situation, there are forms in the lobby. And just fill one of these forms out, make sure we get it, because we need to make sure that you're being counted as part of the roster, which allows us to have the right number of folks for the quorum for the voting. So please make sure you fill one out if you want to change your status. And our own Rob Geyer, sitting back there, is now going to be offering our Good Friday 9 play once again. And yeah, it's very exciting. And if you would be interested in being a part of that production, there's going to be an informal meeting on Sunday, March 8th, right after the 11 a.m. service. And you can see Rob for more information. And another pretty exciting thing happening, Peggy Kaufman, who's standing at the back, will be joining a delegation to go to the Mexican border on March 11th. We as a sanctuary church want to support this effort. There are flyers in the lobby with information about a send-off fundraising event on Saturday, March 7th. If you'd like to donate but can't make it, see Peggy. All donations collected will go directly for food, clothing, and supplies for the migrants camping on the Mexican side of the border. The delegation will be there to witness the hardships happening at the border, speak with the people, prepare and provide food, clothing, and necessities, participate in a sidewalk school for migrant children, and possibly to witness deportations as well. There will be a presentation here after Peggy returns. Thank you, Peggy, for that. So carrying on with the announcements, we've got some news for the board, and as you know, the next board will be elected next Sunday. The board would be grateful if folks could get in the habit of wearing their name tags, and if you don't have a name tag, there is a sign-up sheet in the Bradford Library that we can make. We kind of used to wear them all the time, and then we stopped wearing them, but you know what's great is we've got a lot of new folks who have been joining us, and it'd be really lovely to know everyone's name. So if you could, sign up for a name tag and start wearing them, that'd be great. And of course, more information can be found in the bulletin, on Twitter, on Facebook, on our Instagram account. Hello to all the YouTubers. Thank you for joining us this morning. And thanks for being here. So lots of announcements. So maybe we could go to the mission statement, and together we could share the mission statement. The mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. And we'll also share our vision together. We celebrate oneness with Spirit and with the divine nature of all. Great. So at this point, if we'd like to just kind of settle in, if you feel comfortable, feel free to close your eyes, and I'll share an opening prayer that was inspired by a number of things, but if you've ever read Joel S. Goldsmith and The Infinite Way, it comes from that publication in part. The Christ consciousness is the Spirit of God individualized in you. What was possible to the Christ consciousness in Jesus is to that same indwelling Spirit for each of us now. As we awaken to and embrace our Christ consciousness, we shall become closer to God. The more we relax our mental struggle, the more we become receptive to those things which the Spirit of God teaches. Instead of trying to make Spirit operate upon our human bodies and material affairs, let us learn to disregard these mortal projections and work on our practice of feeling our indwelling Spirit. The kingdom of God does not consist of more and better material, more stuff, nor does it necessarily include a greater vocabulary of truth. Instead, it consists of great spiritual understanding expressed as greater harmony, peace, prosperity, joy, and more ideal companionships and relationships. To receive the Word of God, or to hear our indwelling consciousness, all we need to do is feel rather than reason. This is referred to biblically as receiving the Word in the heart. As you spend more time feeling the sensations in your heart, you will begin to feel greater harmony of being. You will understand that our 5 human senses cannot reveal the spiritual truth to us. Spiritual truth is only available from that still, small voice within, our indwelling Spirit. I pray that each day you may find a way to feel your heart and thus hear that small voice of infinite wisdom inside you. May your will be the will of thy will. And so it is. And maybe we could have the daily word. Continuing on the theme, let go, let God. I let God be God in me. Let's say that together. I let God be God in me. Meister Eckhart, the 14th century German mystic, taught, all that God asks you most pressingly is to go out of yourself and let God be God in you. Reflecting on Eckhart's words, I remember that whatever I'm doing, I need never feel frustrated by the limits of human wisdom and understanding. Letting go and letting God reminds me that God's presence is with me throughout every experience of my life. God's love, life, wisdom, understanding, and strength are mine. Ever my inner power of release works through me whenever I call upon it. My human self, together with the indwelling presence of God, the Christ in me, brings good into my life. The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. John 14:10. So one last time. Let go, let God. I let God be God in me. And I guess musicians are back up. Thank you.
Please stand. Sing.
This day is a witness to my sacred purpose, to all that I'm meant to be. This day is a witness to letting it flow, letting it go where it will go, letting the power of your presence show the way, letting it in, letting you know, I'm letting you lead that I might follow, being a witness to your presence every day. This soul is a witness to my holy purpose, to all that I'm born to be. This soul is a witness to my holy purpose, to all that I'm born to be. Letting it in, letting it flow, letting it go where it will go, letting the power of your presence show the way. Letting it in, letting you know, I'm letting you lead that I might follow, being a witness to your presence every day.
And this
Life is a witness to my rightful purpose, to all that I've come to be. This life is a witness to my rightful purpose, to all that I've come to be. And I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. For all my life. For all my life.
And we invite the lovely Heather Diddell platform to take it from here.
Good morning.
Don't forget to turn on your mic. Is it on?
I think Matt is pretty on. I should be on. Am I on?
Well, it looks a little strange.
The little green light is on.
Green, but
But
what is it? Red behind. See, flip it over to that one.
okay. Ooh. Now I'm really on. Hello, everybody on YouTube. Welcome to all of you. A special welcome to anybody who is here for the first time at Unity in a very friendly, gentle way. We ask you to raise your hand if you are so inclined, and we have a little gift for you. We welcome you here. Welcome. It's wonderful to have you here, and we would be happy to have you join us in Fellowship Hall or outside of the sanctuary afterwards, so we can share a little bit more about who we are. And welcome back to all of you. So I apparently am the guest minister today, and I want to follow up on what Sherry had said a little bit earlier about prayer. We are a prayer ministry, and as Sherry said, we have these wonderful little prayer request forms in every pew there. At Unity, we pray in a way that's a little bit different from some of the ways that I was raised with as a Catholic child and in other traditions. At Unity, prayer for us means that we take the time to shift ourselves and align our mind, body, and soul and heart with the will and the love and light of God. And so that's the kind of praying that we do. And as Sherry said, we have 4 prayer chaplains here, so you're welcome to share one-on-one prayer with them afterwards. And for those of you who fill out one of our prayer request forms, as you regular attendees know, these go into our prayer ministry, which Dennis masterminds, and are prayed over for the month, and then are sent on to Silent Unity at Unity Village in Missouri, and that's where they're prayed over 24/7 for another month. So you got a lot of good prayer juju going on. And for everybody, we hope that you'll join us downstairs for some wonderful hospitality. Now, this is a special 11 o'clock feature, and for those who are new for the first time, don't be surprised to see that when I say to people, please feel free to greet your neighbors, that there may be an upwelling of bodies and people coming to greet you and say hello. This is that time. Hello. Hello. Yes, I'll be your neighbor. Hey, sweetheart. Oh, my mic's still on. Am I there? Okay, good. I'm gonna borrow this little guy.
It's a mute. I turn it so there's a red behind it.
That's the magic sound of people returning to their seats. Thank you.
All right. We'll do our little chant to go into meditation.
I think we need a statement of oneness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said we did that. Okay.
No.
It's time for our statement of oneness, and let's say that together.
The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. That one is God, the good omnipotence.
I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I'm raising the veil.
As we go now into our time of meditation, make yourselves comfortable, whatever that feels like for you. Cross your legs, uncross your legs. Open your hands, open your hearts. Close your eyes or lower them to a low focus point. Whatever allows you to become fully present. Let's take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we release all unnecessary thoughts. Let's take another deep breath in. And let's focus on our hearts as we keep breathing in deeply and out deeply. God is right here in my heart. No separation, no distance at all. I raise the veil. We are one with God, with our indwelling spirit, with the divine essence that lights up our hearts. And every cell of our being, every atom is lit up by the light of our God. As it burns brightly, sweetly, always, always present. We are of God. We are filled with the light of Spirit and God. With every breath we take, we breathe God in, and we breathe God out. And now let us rest in God in silence, feeling its divine presence in our heart and our whole being flowing to us, from us, in us, and with us. As we continue to feel the light and the love of Spirit gently streaming through us, we give thanks for the gift of this moment, of this sanctuary, of all who are here now, and loved ones and friends who are elsewhere. We say thank you. And as we give thanks for our communion, with the divine essence that flows between us and with us always, we know that we are always held in the arms of God, and that we are sanctuaries for that presence within us. I invite you to notice if there are any people, names, or prayers that might be arising in your hearts or minds. And if so, please feel free to share those either silently or softly. We know that the divine presence that flows through us flows through every moment, every situation, every person we meet or we love. And that divine presence is always with us. And we say, thank you, and so it is.
I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I want to know you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to see you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to hear you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to feel you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to praise you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to love you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil.
Raising the veil.
I'm raising the veil.
Thank you. Good morning again. I'm delighted to have this chance this morning to share with you some thoughts and exploration and experimenting I've been doing for the last couple weeks. My working title for today's ever-evolving message is Awakening To. It all started a couple of weeks ago when we were here for the final service with Reverend Crystal as our senior minister. And as we celebrated and released her to go out into the world and follow her nudge, just like Reverend Jim went out into the world to follow his nudge, and other ministers before have, we too embarked on a new journey. In our ceremony of release and celebration, we spoke about our congregation as we who stay. We who stay. And we know that we who stay, we are the church. We are the body and the heart and the soul of the church. So I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to acknowledge that we who stay are on a really interesting journey right now. I know from talking with a number of people in our congregation that this time of change and transition hits people in different ways. And the reactions range from gratitude to grief, sadness, joy, eager anticipation, anxiety, a reaffirmation of a desire for clear guidance as to how we steer this ship and what will the next harbor look like, and a reaffirmed trust in the unfolding of the universe. We are in the unfolding of the universe. We are the unfolding of the universe, even as we surrender to not knowing what that looks like. As Reverend Roger said in his message several weeks ago, or actually I guess Dada said, we know nothing. We are always living in the mystery, and not knowing anything is the first step on the path of wisdom. So we are in a place of mystery. We are in the right place at the right time. And as I've been thinking about this time of change and opportunities to grow and evolve into who we're going to be next, I've spent some time looking more deeply than usual into our mission statement, which we read aloud earlier today. I wanted to really get a more personal sense of how it reflects that ever-present force of life that in our mission statement is referred to as divine essence, and how that mission statement and its words may serve us who stay to move through these times of change in the highest way possible, for the highest good possible. So right off, I realized something surprising about myself. Being raised Catholic, confession comes naturally to me. It didn't used to be with such a large crowd. I had fallen into a pattern of almost automatic reciting or reading of our mission as part of our routine Sunday service. And I wasn't really taking in the full import or impact of the words. I wasn't getting a whole lot of juice for the squeeze. And that's really because I wasn't taking time to soak in it and to work with it. I've had a hunch for a while that our mission statement may be an extremely powerful focus and source of inspiration for us, particularly now as we're moving forward into the world of not knowing and evolving mystery. It could be a cornerstone of our developing understanding of what wants to be expressed through us and as us, the Unity Church in Albany, next. So I decided to take some time to take a look at it and ask a few questions. My basic question was, are these just a bunch of great words? Because we had some great wordsmiths putting them together. Or could they really provide clarity and deep inspiration to us about who we are and how we move in the world, for us personally and for us as a church? So spoiler alert, I'm going to cut to the end of my story so that you know where we're going. After doing some digging and savoring and feeling into what was behind or under or in the words, I found myself ever so slowly opening to a different and deeper understanding of the doorway and the path that mission can take us to if we choose, both individually and as a congregation. So I began experimenting with making our mission statement my personal affirmation. And I've experimented with saying, I choose to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. I am awakening to and embracing the divine essence of all persons through prayer and service. And oh my gosh, what an amazing experience this has been, taking those those words in and feeling the vibration of them going into my cells and lifting me up. So I've decided to clear my throat. to, to keep building a more conscious, personal, intimate relationship with those words, and to use that as a daily affirmation. My sense as I stand here this morning is that we as the church, we who stay, if we take on this mission statement for the beauty and power and truth of the words and take that in, it can really serve us like a beacon, a very bright light, like a lighthouse, or a guiding star as we sail through these waters of change. So let me share with you some of my thoughts. Let's see what we have here. So there it is. Awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. I'm going to talk first about some exploring with divine essence, and then awakening to and embracing. Prayer and service are really important, but I'm not going to talk about them today. We'll leave that for another day, and you'll be glad that I did. So we all know that our mission is grounded in awakening to the divine essence of all beings. I think of divine essence basically as spirit, or indwelling spirit, or God, called so many other names by so many other people. Frank Foolscrow calls it the Big Holy, which I love. Other traditions call it the Great Mystery, Allah, Jehovah. Whatever the name is that resonates with you, if it's not spirit or God or divine essence, just know that I'm talking to you anyway, and feel free to substitute my word for your word so you can really take it in. So as we spend a moment focusing on divine essence, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and stay awake as we breathe in the words. Divine essence. Divine essence. Always with us, in us, flowing to us and through us, as us. Let's breathe that in and let it land. Divine essence. I feel you, I see you. I want you. Let's think of that as vibrant life force. Pure light and pure unconditional love inside us always. With your eyes still closed, please take a moment to focus now on unconditional love. We use those words so casually, but the actual experience of unconditional love can be quite rare. And when it happens, it's quite amazing. See if you can pull up a memory of a moment when you felt unconditional love. Either you feeling unconditional love for another being or thing, for the two dogs who sit by your side or cradle in your arms, or for a baby or a child, or a loved one, or a pet who feeds your heart and your soul. Have you ever felt unconditional love for? If so, what does that feel like in your body? You know that feeling if you felt it. Bring that up now. If you don't have that kind of memory, maybe you're lucky enough to have a memory of feeling that you were loved unconditionally by someone or something at some time. Bring that feeling up. And if in this moment a memory doesn't come to you, then just use your imagination. How might it feel in a moment of unconditionally loving something? Dark chocolate qualifies. For me, very often, the remembering of holding my newborn baby will bring me back to that feeling of unconditional love. I know for others it could be their dog or their cat. So while your eyes are still closed and you are marinating in some kind of experience of unconditional love, and knowing that that is part of the divine essence in each one of us, let that sensory experience of unconditional love just melt into your sense of divine essence, so that you experience them as one and the same in this moment. knowing that unconditional love is always emanating to us and through us from this divine essence that is always present. Can you sense or imagine how amazing it is to be filled with the awareness of unconditional love of divine essence? What would it be like to be aware of that on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, knowing and feeling that constant presence, that constant emanation in us, through us, and with us? And then to be aware that that very same life force and unconditional love is awakened to and radiating, emanating from all other beings. Wouldn't that be amazing? That is a truth. That is out there, in here, for us any moment. So if you don't mind leaving that sweet place you're in, please open your eyes. Now, I know that many in our congregation have had their own unique experience of divine essence, or maybe many, many different kinds of experiences of divine essence. I would love sometime to sit in a talking stick circle around a fire and just one by one share some of those moments where we have felt hit by grace, are aware that this divine essence is real for us and is alive in us. That would be fantastic. I too have had some low-key but very sweet moments of awareness of divine essence. And the one that happened most recently took me quite by surprise, which I guess is how it happens. I woke up one morning and I felt particularly good. I thought, oh, that's nice. Wonder what that's about. And as I went through my morning, I noticed that I was walking in love. I was seeing with eyes of love. I hadn't intended it. It wasn't an intention. It wasn't even a prayer that day. It just was upon me. I was in a place of grace. And even when I went to work, and a woman who is a perpetual irritant to me, as I suspect I am to her, we are one another's teachers, I keep telling myself. When I saw her, and heard her, I felt a small spark of irritation and then an immediate dissolving into this warm wave of love. And to my shock, I felt my heart just opening and wrapping around her and holding us together. I just loved her. That was a miracle. And it wasn't of me, but it definitely came from that divine essence that is always there. And for some reason that day, my busy mind hadn't gotten in the way of it. So, how do we keep finding a way to awaken to and experience divine essence in whatever shape or form that it may show up for us? But before, let me ask you something. How many of you have had an experience like that, your own kind of feeling in grace or essence through? Lots of people. And how many of you who just raised your hands have experienced what I call the seesaw phenomenon, where you feel wondrously alive and one with God, and then over time it's gone. You're just drunk with busyness and things you need to do and mundane patterns of living. How many of you have experienced that? Yeah, almost the same number. Me too. I struggle with that. And I really look at how can we move away from that. Jerry Patel was saying to me after the first service this morning that he had read that that's actually an essential rhythm because most of us couldn't handle a constant level of that kind of awareness of divine presence. I'd be happy to try. Apparently we're not the only ones who experience that seesaw phenomenon. Even the most remarkable shamans, our monks, our saints, have experienced going from super hot, tender love connection with the divine to feeling icebox cold and disconnected. And then over and over again, the pattern goes. So what awakens us and what will allow us to keep recovering to a place of awakening to? Well, as I've thought about it, it looks as though there are as many ways to find our way to awakening to again and again as there are people. And we all evolve and morph over time. So what worked yesterday may or may not work tomorrow, but there is always a way. We know that there are people who've had big awakenings. We have the Buddha, for example. We have a lot of saints. I've been reading about Catherine of Siena recently, and she had an ecstatic, mystical experience of Jesus as a little girl that she continued to experience periodically through her life. So those are our big awakenings. For those of us who are not prone yet to find God in a burning bush talking to us, or getting 10 commandments handed to us from atop a mountain, there are lots of other less dramatic but still very, very significant ways of awakening. One path is prayer. And we know from Unity teachings that prayer is all about shifting us. It's not about petitioning God. And for those of us raised Catholic, that was a little bit of a shock to hear that. Eric Butterworth is my go-to guy when it comes to Unity teachings about prayer. And in one of his books called The Universe is Calling, he tells us prayer is not trying to reach God or inform God or tell God all about your troubles. It is to know God as the infinite resource within, and to expand your self-realization. God doesn't have what we need. God is what we need. Ooh, thank you, Eric. So clearly, prayer is a very significant path of awakening for many, and prayer takes all kinds of forms. Other paths to significant awakenings include coming together here, or in any group to worship and to come into connection with divine essence, or to study truth teachings, or through music. So often I'll be listening to the music of our incredible music ministry and feeling the life of God just course through me. The veils raise and my heart is open and I'm aware of divine presence. Others find it through dance, our sacred ecstatic experience, our being fully present in moments of joy or great sorrow or suffering. Sam and I have been studying with a really interesting ecstatic mystic named Brad Keeney, and he has studied ecstatic mystical experiences around the planet, and interestingly enough, has found multiple accounts of ecstatic mystical experiences by people who were enslaved, where there was great suffering and sorrow, and vulnerable hearts open to the divine. So it can come to us in all kinds of different ways. Each one is just a different path of raising the veil, of being one with our God. So for us, the invitation is to experiment and see what kind of spiritual practice works now for us to awaken us to and make us feel that divine essence inside. And it may change over time. So, along with the words of divine essence and awakening to, we have the word embrace. And the phrase, embrace the divine presence, divine essence. Well, that's an interesting word. It actually turns out to be really important in terms of us anchoring into this divine essence. If all we did was awaken to it, it could be like seeing someone across the room and saying, hello there, divine essence. Good to see you, gotta go, and move along. But no, our mission statement talks about awakening to divine essence and then embracing it. Embracing it. Now, an embrace is something that we do with a loved one or something that we love. And I went to the dictionary to say, is there another way to look at embracing? And it's the same thing. By the dictionary, it means bringing someone or something close to your heart as a sign of affection or love. Oh, what a difference when we awaken to the divine essence within, and then we bring it close into our hearts consciously. Because of course it's always there, but we embrace it and bring it in. Can you feel the power of that? It's so different than just awakening to and moving right along. When I'm in that moment of embracing and really holding on to divine essence with a sense of love, I feel like I am the song. I am a sanctuary. We are a sanctuary. We are one with God. We've raised the veil. Now, as I was thinking about this, holding closely divine presence as I would someone I love, it dawned on me that there's another piece that I hadn't noticed before. And the subtitle of this section of the message could be, "It's an Inside Job." I realized that when I recite the mission statement here at Unity, and we get to awakening to and embracing the divine essence of all beings, I am out there with you, with other beings. And last week, one day, I woke up, I thought, hey, Heather, you're one of those all beings. Where's that happening in your experience? And I thought, oh. So the first step is to awaken to and embrace divine essence in ourselves. To claim that is who we are. And then from that place, I can awaken to and see the divine in every single person as part of the divine essence. And that gives truth to the phrase namaste, which is all about how the divine in me bows to the divine in you. And so doing the inside job first allows me to be in communion in a moment of namaste in a way that I had missed before. So it's getting time to move along to the rest of the service. But before we do, I just want to share 3 quick thoughts with you. First is to give you an invitation, or what we would call a loving challenge, to consider building your own deeper, more personal, more intimate connection with the words of our mission statement, if you feel so called, and see what happens. And it's easy enough to put your own words to that. It could be, I intend to awaken to and embrace. I want to awaken to embrace. I yearn to awaken and embrace. I choose. Or I am awakening to and embracing the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. Try that on and see whether your relationship with the message of those words changes in some way, changes you, changes your experience of who you are, and perhaps for us as a congregation, changes our experience of who we be as we go through this time together of change and transition. As I mentioned in my spoiler alert at the very beginning, I see my shawl's falling off here. Just take it off. My deep sense, after having spent several weeks with this, is that the mission statement that came up through us, and we repeat every Sunday together, is about as inspiring and powerful a tool as we could ever want to have to guide us as a beacon, as a lighthouse, as a guiding star through the seas of change that we're in. See over time if you feel the same way. And last and not least, let's go to our affirmation for the week. Let's read it together once, and then I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and I'll read it to you, and then we'll read it together a third time, okay? Today, I choose to awaken to and embrace my divine essence and the divine essence of all beings. Close your eyes. Today, I choose to awaken to and embrace my divine essence and the divine essence of all beings. Let's say it together. Today, I choose to awaken to and embrace my divine essence and the divine essence of all beings. And so it is. Thank you. You do know that you are the most inspiring bunch of people to talk to, don't you? It's true. Thank you. Thank you.
Resonant Om.
I am light, I am light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. It's all light. I am light. I am light. side. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
And now we've come to that part of our service where we get ready to give our offering and we share together our offertory blessing. Let's say it together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. Amen.
Heather mentioned the word namaste, meaning I salute the divine in you. The words satnam are much the same. I see the divine truth in you. We'll sing about that now. It's like this. Satnam, grace within you shines through you forevermore. Satnam, the grace within you shines through you forevermore. That you may manifest the perfect name, that you may manifest the perfect name. Satnam, 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 Satnam. So if you're able, stand and join us for we'll sing it again. Satnam, the grace within you shines through you forevermore. Satnam, the grace within you shines through you forevermore. That you may manifest the perfect name, that you may manifest the perfect name. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam,
We thank you, Mother, Father, God, for the incredible love donations given by this community every day, every way, be it through the music that lifts our spirits and feeds our hearts and souls, whether it's through the energy form that comes in dollars and coins, whether it's through other ways of participating, feeding people at hospitality, working in the office, opening your heart to one another. We thank you for the love that flows through us, as you to us. And we thank you for the gifts in our communion with one another this day. And so it is. Amen.
And what's happening tonight at 6:30?
We'll be here.
Going to lift the roof off. What's that?
Another joyful noise.
Another joyful noise. Come, as my friend used to say, don't miss it if you can. Great to have you here. And, hoping it's a real success and we can have them on something of a regular basis. So let's see what happens. All right, here we go. I got my capo on. And if you'd like to join hands, do that.
There was a time in my life, thought I'd have to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I